the variance is the square of the standard deviation, so we take the exponent, we square that figure, we get the same answer. And that command will work for the following. These are the commands that we can use: mean, median, notice not mode, min, max, standard deviation, ST standard deviation, quantile, range, var for variance, notice not skewness, not kurtosis, so we're going to deal with skewness and kurtosis now. Mode, that requires some code but not too hard, but we're not going to do it in this video. To obtain the skewness and kurtosis, we need to install some package. Now there's a few packages out there to do it. I'm going to use the moments package. To install packages, we'd use this command, install.packages, and then the name of the package, moments. Oops, speech marks missing. Okay, there you are. Then we select our country. Let's see, where am I? I'm in London, UK. Choose the one that's closest to you. Install. Once it's installed, you call in the library. Just use library moments to activate. Before we go and calculate kurtosis and skewness, quick review. Kurtosis, skewness only relevant for continuous type data. Skewness measures the degree of asymmetry in the histogram. And these are the basic shapes and typical shapes, although not always. You will get these shapes. Here, symmetrical. Basically, here's the data. Data goes along here, and that's like the relative frequency. So the data, the distribution here, it is symmetrical. Skewness is 0. Here you can see most of the observations tend to take lower values opposed to higher values. This is what we call positive skew. In this case, positive skew because the skewness figure will be positive. Here, such a distribution means more of the observations, a large proportion of observations take higher end values rather than lower end values. Here we will get a skewness figure negative, so we say this is negative skew. Another name for this is right skew, another name for this is left skew. Kurtosis measures the thickness of the tail relative to a normal distribution. The kurtosis for under normal distribution is 3. If you've got fatter tails, the kurtosis is going to be bigger than 3. And if you've got thinner tails, then kurtosis is going to be less than 3. Now some stats packages give you what they call excess kurtosis, so meaning excess, let's say excess kurtosis, excess kurtosis being kurtosis of your distribution minus the kurtosis for the normal distribution 3. So if it's equal to 0, it means that it's symmetrical. Bigger than 0 means that it's positive, that means it's fatter than a normal. Less than 0 means it's thinner than for a normal. And these have some fancy Latin name which you can look up. To get the skewness for when our data is in the vector, we just type skewness in the name of the vector. Here it's positive. To get the kurtosis, the command now is just kurtosis, name of the variable. There you go. Alright, so that's the statistics, that's the main stats we need to know for how to obtain them for when the data is in a vector. Now we're moving on to the case we're going to redo the whole thing, but when for a data frame, which is more typical, you're going to be more typical use. So let's look at how we can obtain some stats from a data frame for the tooth growth data. Say I want to find just the mean, I want to find the individual stats here, mean, and I type in the name of the data frame, tooth growth, length. Notice here we get a message, though it gives us the mean for the length, sup and dose. Sup not applicable because it's a factor, dose it's treating this all as if it's continuous. Mean here is deprecated, meaning that there's better ways of doing this, and that's because some of your variables here are not, you can see some of them are not, they're not continuous. Okay, we can use this command mean, and we just select the variable using this name of the data frame, $, and the name of the variable. There. We want dose, dose. Okay, and this will work for all the other stats I showed you. So for standard deviation, oops, let's just use the up arrow and just edit. We want the standard deviation, like that. If we want the skewness, like that. We can obtain a certain stat for a subset of variables using the sapply command.